Hey everybody, today I decided it was time for another 5-star TBR predictions video. So I've done a couple of these, I believe I've done 2 in the past and they've all been around this time of year. The last one has been more than a year, so it is definitely time for an updated version. And in case you don't know, 5-star TBR predictions videos are pretty much what they say they are. I'm going to talk about some books that I haven't read yet that are on my TBR that I think are going to be 5-star reads. So books that I really going to love. Of course, I never buy a book with the intention to not love it, but some books are just a little higher up there with expectations than other books. So I've chosen 5 new 5-star TBR predictions. Maybe I should take a look back at some of my older ones and see if I've read them and if I actually gave them 5 stars, but that might be something for another video. In any case, I'm just going to get started with this one and tell you all about some books that I think might be 5-star reads. The first book that I have on this list is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. So this is a bit of a classic, a bit of an older book, and I actually don't read that many classics these days. But this one in particular caught my attention mostly because the reviews are very positive and I know some people that really love this book. So The Picture of Dorian Gray is about a young man named Dorian Gray. He has his picture painted and he makes, I believe, a certain wish that all the signs of aging will reflect on that picture instead of his own face. So he will not age, but his picture will age. That's pretty much the idea of it. And from what I've gathered, the rest of the book is about his life and probably some things that are going to be interesting. That's really all I know. And yeah, as I mentioned before, I mostly think this is going to be a 5-star TBR prediction because of the very positive stories, but also because the premise of this book itself really sounds so interesting. And when a premise is so interesting and a little bit different, you know, with a picture that ages instead of you, then I'm usually very intrigued with that. I don't know, I feel like this one is going to be a bit of a different kind of classic than some of the others that I've read so far. I feel like this is not going to be a boring one. Not that classics are boring by definition, but so far my experiences with them are not always the best. I have some that I really enjoyed, but also they can be a bit long, a bit slow. But this one, first of all, is not too big, so that's already a plus. And then secondly, just the premise sounds so fun and interesting, and I really hope the execution will be as well. And then who knows, it might actually be a 5-star TBR, no, 5-star book. Next on this list I have The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. It's about a girl named Rin who unexpectedly gets into an elite military school. Apart from that, I really don't know anything about the story. I'm sure there's going to be some sort of conflict and it's also about an empire and things like that. But that's really all I know. You can probably tell that usually with premises, like, they are a bit vague to me, but that's how I prefer it. This is one that is on this list because, again, the reviews are insane. I've heard nothing but good stories about this book so far. But also, of course, because I do really love a good fantasy, and this is fantasy. It actually has been a while since I've read fantasy. But this one sounds like it's right up my alley, that it's something that I'm going to love, and based on, like, reading tastes of other people that I usually trust that love this book, I think I'm going to love it as well. And people keep saying it to me in the comments that it's so amazing that I'm going to love it, so naturally my expectations are really high right now. Apparently there's also a scene or like a chapter in this book that is just insane and people keep like talking about that. I don't know what it's about, of course, but that is again something that I'm like, oh my god, I cannot wait to see what's going to happen and what I'm going to think of it. It just sounds like a very well written fantasy book, and it's also the first book in a series, and I believe all the books are now published within this series. I think it's a trilogy. So if this ends up being a 5-star read, then I will most definitely read the other books in the series as well. But as I mentioned before, my expectations are really high because it sounds like something I'm going to love so much. Then I have a book that has been in some TBR videos before, actually quite a bit of TBR videos, but still, I really think I'm going to love it. And that is Nevermoor by Jessica Townsend, and it's also called The Trials of Morgan Crow. So this is the first book in a middle grade fantasy series. A young girl named Morgan Crow was meant to die on her 11th birthday, but then exactly on her 11th birthday she is whisked away to the mysterious city of Nevermoor. That is all I know about it again, but it sounds like something that is going to be so adventurous. And also again, like, this is going to be something that I'm going to repeat in this video. But lots of people really seem to love this book. Apparently it is an excellent middle grade book. And also I've been definitely very guilty about not reading enough middle grade, because when I do read middle grade, I usually love it so much. And this is one that I think is just so high up there with so many people that are going crazy about it. And it sounds adventurous and sweet and just like it's going to be a lot of fun. Probably also maybe sad, I don't know. I actually don't know. I have not a single clue. This is also again the first book in a series, and I believe the third book in the series is going to be published anytime now. Like it's going to be somewhere this month, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah. Nevermoor, it just sounds like an amazing book and an amazing book series. Also the cover and the edition of this book is just to die for, because who? Because it is so pretty and so gorgeous and I love it. So yeah, I've had this one on my bookshelves for years now. So it's time that I definitely pick it up sometime soon. I actually want to do it this November because there's going to be another round of the Believe-a-thon, which is a readathon all about middle grade, which is organized by Gavin from How to Train Your Gavin. I will leave like information to that down below in the description box, but I feel like it's finally time to pick up this book, and now I'm turning this video into a TBR video. That's not really what I wanted to do, but I really think this is going to be 5 stars for me because it just sounds like it. It sounds like something I will love. It sounds like something that is really going to be an amazing thing for me. So fingers crossed that's going to be the case. Just talking about this book already makes me so happy. So let's just see how that is going to go. And then again, another book that is quite different, I think, because that is A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. This is, I guess it's just like a contemporary, just a novel. And I believe the premise is that it's about 5 friends from college who go through life with a lot of misery and tragedy. The only thing that I know is that first of all, this book is massive. Like, it doesn't look that massive, but like the pages are very thin and the font is very small. But second of all, I know that this book is going to make you cry a lot. For what I've seen so far, lots of people have been crying about this book. Apparently it's a very emotional one. And the thing is with me, I don't cry that often with books or movies. That rarely happens. Sometimes like I feel like I'm made of stone or something, but really the times that I've cried for a book, it's not that often. So when a book does manage to make me cry, it is sort of automatically a 5-star read, because that means that the emotions are so well portrayed that it makes even me cry. And yeah, from what I've heard, it's pretty much impossible to not cry with this book. So that is why I think it's going to be 5 stars, because I think it's going to make me cry and I think that it's going to be very well written. I also think it's going to be a bit not that happy and a bit depressive, but that's sort of the idea from this book, I think. I also think it's going to take a while to actually read this because it is a long one. But again, I think it is going to be a very good one as well. And I think, again, that is going to be 5 stars. And then for the final book on this list, I have A Sprinkle of Sorcery by Michelle Harrison. This is the second book in the Pinch of Magic series, which is again a middle grade series. It's about 3 sisters who are cursed and they are trying to break the curse. Of course, there's lots more to it. There's lots more to the story, at least from like the first book. And I read the first book a while ago during the last Believe-a-thon and I absolutely adored it. It was so beautiful, so sweet, so it was fun and entertaining, but also sad at times, and it was just, oh, amazing. Such a fun, amazing middle grade book. And that's why I picked up the sequel, but I still have not read it yet. But based on how much I loved the first book, and I gave the first book 5 stars, I think I'm going to love the second book as well. So this is a classic case of sequel of a 5-star read that I think is also going to be a 5-star read. Of course, maybe it can be a bit lower than 5 stars because sometimes sequels can be a bit disappointing, but somehow I don't think that's going to be the case with this one. And it's again a magical story. Like if it's anything like the first, I just know I'm going to love it so much. And that's why it's on the 5-star TBR predictions list. So again, I need to read this one soon, probably also in November during the next Believe-a-thon, because it is beautiful, at least the first one is, and I cannot wait to see what's going to happen in the second one. And yeah, this was pretty much it for this video of this edition of 5-star TBR predictions 2020, I guess. As always, I cannot wait to read these books and I cannot wait to see if they are actually going to be 5-star reads. I really hope so, because who does not love to read 5-star reads? Everybody enjoys that. So yeah, just fingers crossed that it's going to become a reality with this one, or like these ones. But as I mentioned before, this is it for this video and I really do hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, maybe go subscribe or leave a comment or give it a like or share or whatever. I would always really appreciate that. And then hopefully I will see you again sometime very soon in one of my next videos. Bye!